Chapter 33, Sherlock. Dr. Morcassius was the one who opened the door into Robbinsog when we got back from the secret spot. Did you have a good time? Or Mom asked when we entered. Yes, I answered. Hey Mom, I was wondering, do you and Dad have plans tomorrow? Dr. Morcassius asked. We were going to go on a romantic sunset jog. It is said to be a cool but not cold day tomorrow, and no clouds are expected, answered our Mom. Yeah, just you and Dad? Dr. Morcassius asked again. Yes, real fun. If I use the term sunrise or sunset everything, you are not welcome unless I say otherwise, answered our Mom. Okay, said Dr. Morcassius. We then went to our room and I then began to lay on my bed. I was looking around the room trying to see if I could get any ideas. I didn't want to solve anything until my parents were on their jog tomorrow. Any ideas? Dr. Morcassius asked. No, I answered. Do you have any idea on how to get ideas? George asked. I do, but it is going to require me to perform a tax on Dr. Morcassius, I answered. What is it? Dr. Morcassius asked. Give me all your Peppermint Candy Cigars, I answered. I have like 7 of those. That's fine, said Dr. Morcassius. All of them, I said. Okay, I can always go out to the Cracker Barrel and Skokie to get more, said Dr. Morcassius. Dr. Morcassius then began looking through his drawer to find the peppermint cigars. Why do you need peppermint? George asked. It is a fact that it keeps people more alert and makes you think and process things better, I answered. He is correct. I've had that about my studies, said Dr. Morcassius. So I'm going to consume them all at once, so that I can get high on it. And then I will be set for days to try and solve these riddles, I said quietly. You want to have 7 of those all at once before dinner? Dr. Morcassius asked. Yes, I answered. Okay, I just cut the wrapper for the last one. Enjoy, said Dr. Morcassius, handing me the candy cigars. Ask how much longer it will be until dinner, I said. I then loaded all 7 candy cigars in my mouth at once and began to suck on them, while Dr. Morcassius was heading toward the door. Hey, Mom, how much longer until dinner? Dr. Morcassius asked. Ask your father, because he is getting it for us, I hear Mom say. Dr. Morcassius then walked deeper into Robbinsog, and I wasn't able to hear the conversation he had with my dad. About a minute later, he arrived back in our room. 14 minutes, Dr. Morcassius said as he was shutting the door when he entered our room. I stuck a thumbs up because my mouth was full at the moment. What did he say he was cooking? George asked. Steak, answered Dr. Morcassius. Wow, those candy cigars look an inch smaller already, said George. Yeah, they do, said Dr. Morcassius, agreeing with George. How many are there? Asked George. 6. 6, I pointed out with my fingers. Have you been biting? Dr. Morcassius asked. I nodded no. He hasn't. I would have heard it, said George. I just don't want him to bite it because it is more effective in my eyes if it dissolves, Dr. Morcassius said. Ivan stuck up my thumb again. It looks like he understood that. Said Dr. Morcassius. I seem curious how he is making those dissolve that fast, said George. I still think the sugar is making them dissolve each other because there's so many, so it is speeding up the process, or he is trying to swallow them whole without biting into them, said Dr. Morcassius. Well, what do you think it is? George asked. Obviously 1. I was joking about number 2 because that is a way to choke, answered Dr. Morcassius. Oh, I see, said George. It There was about 6 more minutes before they were completely dissolved in my mouth. Well, Sam, do you feel more focused? Dr. Marcassius asked. Let me see, I said. I then began to walk out of the living room of Robbinsog, and her mom was sitting on the couch, and that was when I noticed something which I was embarrassed to admit what it is. Hey, Mom? Hey, Mom? Adjust your shirt. I can see your bra strap. I said. Sam, that's not something you say to your mother, said my dad firmly. Yes, right, but thanks for letting me know. I really don't want people except you and your dad when we were alone seeing that, said my mom with a cringe in her voice because she was adjusting her shirt. I then compulsively went to the window that overlooked the park at Hill Washington Library, State Van Buren Station. A Pink Line train just left Hill Washington Library, State Van Buren, I said. Okay, said my dad slowly. Are you feeling okay, my mom asked. Never better, I answered. I only answered that way because I know that Dr. Marcassius would be very upset if I revealed what was going on. How long until dinner, I asked. About a half hour. I'm cooking those steaks well done, answered my dad. Okay, I am going to walk around in the hallways, and maybe in the park, and then hallway, and I said, feeling like I need to burn off energy. I don't care if you go to Moore's, just be back in a half hour, said my dad. And you must take me along with you, Dr. Marcassius said. Okay, I said. Dr. Marcassius and I then put our cloaks on and left Robbinsog. I think you got too high, said Dr. Marcassius quietly when we were in the hallway. I know, I said. Do you feel a sugar rush? No. You look jittery. You seem to be blinking a lot. Well, that's something you wouldn't have said if you weren't high. Our elevator then came and we rode it down to the park below. There were 7 people I can see chilling in the park, I said when we left our building. Wow, I don't focus on that, said Dr. Marcassius. Let's head to the library and take the escalators up to the top floor and back down. Okay. We then entered the library and began to ride up the escalators, and by the time we get to the top, I was shivering. Did you notice the levels got progressively colder? I asked, shivering. Yeah, I did. I also am shocked that you were complaining about it, because you never noticed, said Dr. Marcassius. I think we should head back down. I think we should head back to Robbinsog. Fine. It took about 10 minutes to leave the library because of all the escalators. Now there were 5 people in the park, I said as we were walking by the park outside between the library and our building. Wow, you seem super high, Dr. Marcassius said. I know, but I am right now extremely focused. I think I'm going to make it a full 24 hours before my brain returns to normal function. Let's hope you still feel this focused when Mom and Dad are on their romantic sunset jog tomorrow. I know. We then arrived in Robbinsog after an hour or elevator ride. Is it time for dinner yet? I asked. 15 more minutes, my dad answered. No, that's not right. If you were right, you would have said 35 minutes when we left 20 minutes ago, instead of saying a half hour. When did you become so specific? I mumbled. I'm waiting, my mother said. I'll have dinner in my room tonight, I answered. I then flew into my room. I then just saw my bed and twisted and turned around. It was 10 minutes before my dad entered my room. You seemed fine earlier. Are you sure you were doing okay? My dad asked. I am fine. just hyper. So I'm just chilling here until I get back to normal, I explained to my dad. Okay, well, let's hope you are feeling normal in the morning. Hopefully I will, I said. My dad then left our room. I then enjoyed some steak for dinner, and as soon as I was done, Dr. Marcassius and George came in. How was your dinner? I asked. Good, said Dr. Marcassius. Also good. I'm sorry I wasn't there, I said. We know you just needed to calm down, said George. Dr. Marcassius, can you do me a favor? I asked. Yes, Dr. Marcassius, he answered. What is the name of that medicine you use to help you sleep better at night? I asked. Melatonin, Dr. Marcassius asked. Can I have some? I asked. 1 capsule, no more, no less. Okay, I said. I then took the capsule, and I was on my way to sleep, but that doesn't mean much. That I wasn't talking to my brothers, so I was passing out. Good night, I said. Good night, said George. Good night, Sam, said George. Good night, Sam, said Dr. Marcassius. Wow, I must have been so focused on the peppermint that I fell asleep and I just stayed asleep. I went to bed about 8 in the evening and didn't wake up until 10 in the morning the next day. I got a grand total of 14 hours of sleep, and I didn't feel tired when I was about to go to sleep.